Welcome, Red Devils United. Hope you had a great weekend up until the point Manchester United faced Huddersfield on Sunday. In the one game that we had to win at all costs to secure our Champions League position. And sadly, we didn't. Our team's been giving out listless displays over the last 8 Premier League matches. And if you want to look at a stat, 8 games and 8 points. I mean, if we continue that kind of a form through the course of the season, we would have had 38 points out of 38 games. That means we would have been relegated on the form that we are showing right now. And a lot of the blame lies with the players. A part of the blame also lies with Solskjaer as well, because of the kind of changes he made. The team that started against Chelsea had Ander Herrera, one of the best players in our team by far. The captain material that we need, a player that we need to tie down to a contract. And sadly, we haven't done that. Instead, we're dishing out contracts to players like Ashley Young, Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, Nemanja Matic. We're begging Mata to stay with us. All of these players have gone over the hill and don't deserve another chance to be at Manchester United. Players like David De Gea, Paul Pogba, Ander Herrera, these guys want to leave our team. I mean, these are the world-class players that we have, and we're letting them go. So the malaise runs deep in the United setup, not just at the players or the coaches level, but right up until the board. There needs to be a rethink. And all this talk about getting a new director of football, talking about club legends being a part of it, it all looks like a sham at the moment. Now, cutting back to the game, let's look at the team that started against Huddersfield. We had David De Gea at the back again. There were rumors that De Gea might be rested, but Romero got injured in training. So David De Gea started instead. Eric Bailly got injured against Chelsea, so he got replaced by Phil Jones. Now, interestingly, Smalling has done better than Jones did. And somehow, Solskjaer puts in Jones in his place. We had the usual suspects in Lindelof, Ashley Young, and Luke Shaw starting at the back. Moving ahead, Nemanja Matic still found a place in the starting lineup alongside Scott McTominay and Paul Pogba. Mata started again in the CAM role, along with Marcus Rashford and Alexis Sanchez up front. Now, no matter what you say about Alexis Sanchez, that guy has been shit. Anthony Martial deserved a spot in his place, or Mason Greenwood, or Angel Gomez, or Tai Chong. I mean, we could have started any of those players, but we instead chose Alexis Sanchez. I mean, £450,000 just to walk his dog around Old Trafford, taking a shit all over the place. At the slightest of niggles, that guy falls out and goes out injured. What has he done to our team? All he's done is take his wages and sit at the hospital in front of a doctor, getting his foot tended to. Well, looking back at the game, we did start well. We had intensity for the first 15-20 minutes, and that's when we found our goal. Scott McTominay, he found an empty space in the box, took a shot. Huddersfield keeper flubbed his lines and let the ball go through him for a goal. Other players wanted to celebrate, but Scott McTominay, he just picked the ball and ran towards the center line because he knew the intensity of this game. He knew that every minute is crucial for United to stay in the game, to keep that intensity and go ahead. But after that goal, we kind of lost the touch. We had a few shots on target here and then, but we got unlucky with that. Phil Jones found himself in space a lot of times, but he's not a striker. He's not even a defender at the moment. We can't depend upon him to defend. We can't depend upon him to score our goals. And then the inevitable happened in the second half. It was our corner. We were attacking the Huddersfield side of the goal, but it was a wasteful corner. Their keeper collected the ball and saw that 2 Huddersfield players were free up ahead at the center line, and he just took a shot. Luke Shaw, instead of running with the ball, he took a lunge at it, missed, and it went to this Huddersfield player, Mbenza. who slotted the ball past De Gea for his first goal of the season. I mean, Huddersfield has not scored enough goals, and the fact that the one goal that they scored against Manchester United accounts for 12% of all their goals is a big fact to digest. I mean, they lost 8 games on the trot and still managed to draw against Manchester United, a game we all expected us to win. We came out with just 1 point. Now, the worst team in the Premier League history ever still managed to take a point off us. They got relegated, but they had a reason to celebrate in that relegation. Why? They drew against Manchester United and cancelled out our chances of finishing in the top 4. Now, cut back to that goal that Huddersfield scored. Who is our captain on the pitch? It's Ashley Young. I mean, of all people, Ashley Young still finds a way to get into the squad when he wouldn't get into any of the other Premier League squads, not even Huddersfield, at the kind of form that he's shown. But he's still captain. I mean, it's time Ole Gunnar Solskjaer stops, favouring his favourite boys. Now, there was this clip right at the goal that showed Ashley Young standing with his hands behind the hips, just lost, dejected. But on the other side of the pitch, it was Lindelof who's trying to coax the players into action, who's trying to inspire them, motivate them. Now, whose job is that? Ashley Young should be doing that. Instead, Lindelof is showing the leadership that Ashley Young should have shown in the first place. Now, that shows why Ashley Young shouldn't be a part of this squad, shouldn't be anywhere near this squad. We need leaders. Another leader who's absent, who did not start, was Ander Herrera. I mean, even though that guy is going, why not give him the full 90 minutes? He loves Manchester United. He loves to play for United. He brings the passion that is missing in so many of our players this season. I mean, the only passion that any player showed on the pitch was McTominay. He gets full marks for the effort that he shows on the pitch, even though he's not the most creative or the most fancy of all players. He's not delightful or a treat to the eyes, but he still puts in a shift. He puts in that effort that's required at this level. Now, over these last 3 weeks has kind of seen a magical, what's that game called? Is it revolving chairs, right, of sorts. None of the teams, want to finish in the top 4. I mean, all the London teams were doing us a service by losing their games, by drawing their games, by dropping points. And we had a glorious opportunity to grab all those points and secure our position in the top 4. And we did not do that. I mean, Tottenham lost again this weekend. And that gave us a good chance to, leapfrog Arsenal and be close to Tottenham for the last game. But Arsenal drew its game. We drew our game. We don't want to be there. None of the other teams want to be there. And instead, we're sadly out of the race this season. So this game, again, it highlights a lot of the same questions that we've been talking about over the course of the last few games. All of our analyses has covered this question. What's happened to our players, right? Or are the players not putting in the best? Or are the tactics all wrong? Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not the right manager for Manchester United at this point in time? Because after the press conference, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said that some of these players have played their last game for Manchester United. And we can kind of take guesses who these players are. Alexis Sanchez, definitely. Ashley Young, definitely. Phil Jones, I believe he's also played his last game in a United shirt. Ander Herrera is another guy. Paul Pogba maybe. David De Gea might be. But we hope that the board notices this, that we're not a team in sync. We have a team full of individuals that do not play well together and they don't bring intensity on the pitch. And this is where the work gets even more important for the coaching staff. I mean, they need to identify players who want to play for us, who have that passion, who have a point to prove, instead of just getting in players who want to be at United for the money. Sadly, we've become a team that throws money at players and brings them in to no avail. We're starting to emulate Manchester City. Just like the way they came out with all the money from the Gulf. They started throwing big money at big name players. We're doing that. And that's something we have to avoid this season. But We got another game left against Cardiff next weekend, and that gives us a really good opportunity to bring in our youngsters and give them a chance to prove their mettle, to show their worth. And until then, it's just a wait and watch game. So Red Devils fan, hope you enjoyed this video, just as you do all of our other videos. If you're sad about the state of Manchester United, please hit a like, please put in the comment. If you want something to be covered for the next video, let us know, we'll do that. And until then, do share our videos with our friends, spread the word about us, subscribe, press that bell icon to be notified of our videos when you come out with. And until next time, have a great week ahead, guys. Ta-da.